What's up, everybody? Tim Anderson here, aka Renfell, and welcome to my review of Pillars of Eternity on the Xbox. Now, I have previously played this game a couple of different times on the PC. I played it when it first came out at launch, and then I played it again right before Dreadfire hit the airwaves so that I would be refreshed on all the lore and everything surrounding the game. Now, recently I was on the Xbox and saw that these two games were available on Game Pass, and I said, you know what? I haven't played these in, God, it's got to be a few years now at the very least, I think, since Dreadfire came out. And I said, what the hell? I got some spare time. I wouldn't mind replaying these games, especially because Avowed is still in development and is eventually going to be coming out, and I wouldn't mind refreshing myself on all the lore of these worlds. And I like these games enough that I'm happy to do a third playthrough, despite the fact that I've already played them twice. But this review today is not actually a review of the game itself. I'm going to be doing a review of the game later on in a separate video because I never did a review of this back when I played it the first couple times because I wasn't doing streaming or content creation back then. I was doing other stuff for a living. So now that this is my job, I'd like to get that out to you. But this video is all about the Xbox port, specifically the console port. Is it worth it to play on the Xbox, or should you be playing this game on the PC? I do want to cover some of the pros and cons of each of these systems and kind of dive into it from there. I think that there are pros to the console. There are definitely some cons to the console as well, and there's some pros to the PC version and some cons to the PC version as well. So, with that being said, let's just kind of dive in. I've got my characters here. We've just been kind of running around, been working on quests. So, one of the things I can say right off the bat that I enjoy about the console port is the way the game controls, because you can right now, like I'm on my Xbox controller right now. That's why I'm doing this one in a kind of a live format as opposed to just doing a voiceover on top of a video. I wanted to show people. So like I can just like move my characters around like this. Very Diablo-esque. So if you like those types of top-down games, you can easily just move your characters around just like you would in any type of Diablo style game. However, you can, oh, and by the way, you can also just adjust your point of view, whether you want to come in close or go farther out, so on and so forth, which you could scroll in and scroll out with your mouse wheel as well. You can also do the classic, fast mode versus regular mode, which allows you to just move around the map a lot faster, which I do for about 95% of my gameplay. I really only slow it down if I'm coming into an area where I know there's story heavy elements. So I very much like the way this controls. Now, if you want to do the traditional point and click style of gameplay like you have in the PC, it's very simple. You just hit the Y button. God, I gotta figure out how to get this into my camera shot. Hit the Y button, and now you have the cursor. And you can move the cursor around and put it up somewhere on the map, and then just click, and you will move to that location, just like just like you would do if you were playing on the PC. Similarly, you can open up the map, move your square around to wherever you want it to go, open it up, go back to the Y button, click, and boom, your party is moving appropriately to that location. So in that sense, you have your options. You can play it the way it was meant to be played on a PC, or you can take advantage of the um, the camera following your party and moving around in a very Diablo style gameplay. So I'm a big fan of controllers these days. As I've gotten older, I have chronic tendonitis issues in my wrist just because of overuse over the years, and so I find it difficult to play for prolonged periods of time with mouse and keyboard because I'm using WASD a lot. So I'm a big fan of anything where I can come in and plug a controller in these days. Um, and move around the game world, especially if it's action combat. Now, this is not an action combat game, so it's not that big of a deal. Now, since I have played this game before on the PC, and I played it at the normal mode on my first playthrough, and then I played it on whatever's the other difficulty. Let's take a look here, because I actually don't remember. You've got all these different. Yeah, I did hard. I've never done Path of the Damned, but I did the first playthrough I ever did on normal, and then I did the next time I played through on hard on the PC. So here's one of the areas where I would say, as much as I love the controller aspect of this game, I would not recommend playing this game on anything other than story time or easy mode um, on the console. And this is my opinion, of course. Everybody's going to have a different opinion, but I'm going to give you a reason why. When you go into combat scenarios, and I don't think I have anything loaded where I could get into a combat scenario, but let's just say I want to pause the game and go into a combat sequence here. So I pause the game. First, here's the first thing you have to do. First, you have to pause, right? Then you have to select to open up the reticle to move to the target that you want to use. Then you have to use the R buttons, either R1 or L1, to cycle through your party members. And you'll see right now I'm clicking the right, and it's not always perfectly responsive when I'm doing what I'm doing right now, which is streaming from my Xbox to my PC via a remote play so that I can record a video like this. Now, when I'm not using remote play, I don't have that issue. It will occasionally hiccup, but these are the little things I'm pointing out to you. So then you have to, go through and cycle through your different characters, and then once you've picked a character that you want to use, you would then go into their combat, and from here you have to go into spells, as an example. Click the spells, right? Then you go in through the levels of spells, which you can't even see what they are per level. You have to open up a level, and then you can see, oh, he's got these two spells at 4th level, right? Or he can go back and we go to 3rd level, and we can see what he's got from there. And let's just say I pick Fireball, right? Then I have to manually move this around and choose to cast Fireball. Okay. It is way more intuitive and easier, in my opinion, to do combat on the PC as opposed to the console. Now, there are other people out there who might disagree with you, who might say that it's easier to do combat on the console version. I don't find it to be the case. But since I'm mostly doing this just for the lore, I'm not really here to be challenged because I've already done these games and challenged myself through the content before, and I'm only here to refresh my mind on the storyline. I'm okay playing through on easy mode because it allows me on story mode, I should say, to go through and have little. Sometimes there's challenge. There are, I would say, maybe 2 out of 10 combat encounters in dungeons, I will need to pause and manually do a little bit of healing or something to take care of some big encounters. But for the most part, I can just run around and let the AI do all the combat for me. And these guys wipe everything off the map, and I really don't have to stress about too much. So that part of it, again, pros and cons. The other thing that I have found to be a little bit finicky, and I don't know if it's going to show right now, is sometimes when you go into the journal, you'll find that in terms of the quests and tasks and everything, every once in a while there will be some overlap, or you'll have elements that are overlapping on the so like the paragraph will be on top of the paragraph above. These are little bugs, little quirks that I've found, and I've also found occasionally my wolf pet. I'm playing a ranger with this character, Main. My wolf pet will occasionally get stuck in the nav mesh, and I'll have to, and he won't get unlocked, and so I can't get out of combat, and I'll have to refresh and save. And I have found these to be unique to the console port because I never saw those bugs when I played through on the PC version. So I don't know if other people can report that based on their playthrough. Um, but yeah, that's just one of the things I've seen. So apart from those two things, I think, controlling is a little bit different on the console and combat is a little bit different on the console. But otherwise, I find that the game plays pretty much the way that it plays on the PC. Um, it's all here. The port was very well done. If I had to give it like, is it worth it type of thing, I would say that yes, it's absolutely worth it. You can kind of go through like this way on the map, or you can choose to pick the cursor and like, let's say we want to go to Durford Village, travel there, we'll travel to the village. The whole game is here. Conversations are the same they would be on the PC. Everything is here. So if you've ever played this game on the let's zoom in a little bit more. On the PC, it's going to feel very familiar. Just hail this person. Most who pass through nowadays are refugees or bandits. Let's go into the tavern. We'll take a look here. Was this the tavern? Or was this the tavern? This was the tavern. We'll take a look in here just so I can give you a glimpse at what some of the conversations look like. Because it's very similar to the PC. And like I said, I don't really find that much of a difference apart from the combat, which is really the
Gods
only
keep
thing.
you.
So yeah, you just cycle through here. Um, I have questions about Deerford. Tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next, and you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folk. Usually not much to say about us, and that suits us fine. Used to be a castle here, built by some family of Adrian Thanes back when the Empire first came. Only one tower still standing, and that's part of Trigal's shop now. Sid, that bard by the fire, could spin you the yarn if you're so inclined. Who lives in Deerford. So then you can go through here, and one of the beauties of this game is the dialogue, which we're going to be talking about in the actual review of the game, because this isn't a review of the game, this was just a review of the console port. So at the end of the day, let's back out of here and just enjoy some of this music while we're wrapping up the video. I do think that the console port is worth it. If you've never played this game before and you happen to have Xbox Game Pass and you don't necessarily want to play it on the PC, get this game. Especially get both the games because they're both available on Game Pass right now. And the storyline is superb. The writing is superb. Again, I'll do the full review of the game later on. It's a lot of fun. And considering that you can kind of choose the way that you play the game, whether you want to do the camera following around, old like Diablo style, or whether you want to treat it like the old point and click and move your mouse around and then move your characters, both options are available. So it feels very much like the original top down that was designed on the PC. Like I said, combat, check out your difficulty, play it how you want, go from there. I think it's a lot of fun. I think you should do it. I do think the console port for the Xbox is absolutely worth it. I think I said very well done with a couple of caveats because I've seen a couple bugs here and there, but give it a shot. If you've played this on the console and you enjoyed it as well, or if you didn't enjoy it either way, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this game on the Xbox. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and tune in because I'm currently live streaming this game in a complete playthrough leading up to a playthrough of the second game as well because there's ship combat and it's awesome. And I'm going to be doing class breakdowns, party breakdowns, companion breakdowns, thanks to Slater Gaming for inspiring me to get into it this year because I hadn't played these games in a couple years, and his videos have really got me going. Man, I want to do the same thing. I really want to give my perspective on things. So shout out to him. Follow him, by the way. He's got some great stuff on Pillars of Eternity too. He's doing a live playthrough now. Um, anyway, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, support if you can. You can do super chats below. You could join as a member. There's 3 different tiers. There's a Patreon page for what we're building with our own fantasy world and video game. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, happy gaming. Enjoy, everyone.